Hello dear students, this is Business Research Methods and Project Work course tutorial. This is tutorial 2.6. The topic is secondary data sources. You know that in research, data is required by the researcher for analyzing and for finding answer to the research question. Now what is data? Data means the information, facts, figures that are required by the researcher for analysis. Now, there are various types of data or various categorization of data. You often heard the categorization as primary data and secondary data. Now, what is primary data and what is secondary data? You should know the difference. There are two major approaches to gathering information about a situation, person, problem, or phenomena. In one approach, researchers need to collect the required information, whereas in the other, information required is already available. When the information required is collected first-hand by the researcher, it is called primary data. When readily available information is used in the research, it is called secondary data. Now, data can be also classified as qualitative data and quantitative data. So, qualitative data, it means data or information that is in descriptive and in narrative form, or it may be also in categorical form. Whereas quantitative data are usually in numerical forms. Now here in our tutorial, the discussion is on sources of secondary data. Secondary data may be available in reports, books, journals, newspaper, newsletter, dataset, and such materials either in physical or print format or electronic format or both the format. Some of those data, that is secondary data, can be obtained by paying a minimal fees, and some other data are open access data. Open access data means there are no restrictions in use of those data, and anyone can avail those data. Now the sources of secondary data can be classified in various forms. So one classification is that the sources are classified as internal sources and external sources. These internal sources, specifically say in case of business organization or marketing firms, those who always face some real life problem. Real life problem means they are always having some problems related to their business or related to their marketing, and therefore they continuously need to survey or research on the market, and therefore they used to collect various data and keep in their repository or in their data warehouse. So some of the internal sources are, say, accounting records, financial records, then Salesforce record, then records of consumers or consumer database, then there may be miscellaneous reports. And internal experts, this is another internal source. So internal sources are those which are within the organization. So organization maintain or kept information. External sources are those which are not within the organization. So this data or information need to be borrowed or purchased from some other organization, and some of those data may be also freely available. Now these external sources are classified again as government publication and non-government publication. In government publication again, there is classification. One is regular publication and the other is ad hoc publication. In non-government publication, there are many types. There are industry and trade associations. So those trade associations and industry body, they used to do some survey or research, and based on those they used to publish some reports. So those may be a source of secondary data. Then media houses, libraries and archives, universities or research institution, syndicated services, consumer research services. Then international organizations are there like WTO, World Bank, IMF, then policy research institution. So these are different sources of secondary data. Now I will discuss those sources in detail. For a marketing firm or for a business firm, sales invoices are a good source of accounting data. A sales invoice include name of the customer, address of the customer, items ordered, quantities shipped, discounts allowed, price charged, total amounts of sales, and dates of sales. All these are available in sales invoices. It often contains information on sales territory, sales representatives, and warehouse from which the product was dispatched. Such information helps in sales data analysis. Say how much sale is done by product, that is product wise sale, then customer wise sale, say customer from which area purchase more or which area customers purchase premium products. So these kinds of information may be available from those sources. Then information related to say sales by industry, then sales territory, sales representatives, levels of profit. So all can be found out from sales invoices. Now in government publication, as you have noticed, it can be again divided into two. One is regular publications and the other is ad hoc publication. Now in regular publication, there are some examples like you can talk about the Register General of India. So, this body or this particular department of Government of India prepared a census report. Then the socioeconomic and caste census report. So this may be good source of secondary data because a lot of information or a lot of data are available, and that also on the whole population of the country. So you can find demographic data, then socioeconomic data, and again you can find out the standard of living from those reports data. Then you might have heard about Central Statistical Organization, CSO, and another is National Sample Survey Organization. So this CSO, that is Central Statistical Organization, publishes national account statistics, and this contain information on national income. Then Statistical Abstract, which contains statistics for various sectors of economy. Annual Survey of Industries, which contain data on performance of industrial sectors. Monthly publication of selected industries of India, and many other. So these are good source of secondary data. There is a department which is known as Director General of Commercial Intelligence of Government of India. This brings out monthly statistics of the foreign trade of India. That means how much imports done, how much exports done. So this data can be retrieved from there. There is Office of the Economic Advisor, Ministry of Commerce and Industry of Government of India, which publishes price statistics and WPI, that means Wholesale Price Index. Then CPI, that is Consumer Price Index for industrial workers, urban non-manual employees, agricultural laborers, and many others. There is Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, which conduct the economic survey, and they release or they published it annually. The economic survey that is published annually. Then the Directorate of Economic and Statistics. So one that is Ministry of Agriculture under Directorate of Economic and Statistics. It publishes agricultural situation in India, and that is the monthly journal. So data related to agriculture situation is available there. National Sample Survey Organization of Government of India publishes comprehensive data on social, demographic, industrial, and agricultural statistics. Then you also know about Reserve Bank of India. So this is the apex bank for all the banking institution of our country. So RBI Bulletin, which is a monthly journal, deals with all aspects of economy in general and currency and finance in particular. So they release currency and finance report, which is an annual publication. So similar to this, there are many other reports in that is released by Reserve Bank of India. So you can find out those in Reserve Bank of India's website. Now I'm going to discuss about non-government publications from which secondary data can be retrieved. National Council on Applied Economic Research, that is NCAER. It is a premier research institution in applied economics in India. It undertakes sponsored research both from government and private sector organization. So many of the studies you will find that they conduct studies related to consumer or say expenditure behavior, then saving and investment of people. This great Indian middle class, so this is a report or this is a publication from NCAER. So you can find a lot of information related to middle class people of India. Then there is R.K. Swamy BBDO Guide to Urban Market. So the consumption, expenditure, saving, all this data you will find in that BBDO guide. Business World. So this is a renowned magazine, business magazine of India. So this particular magazine or the publishing house, they publishes marketing white book. That is an annual publication. So you will find data on spending pattern of urban consumer and rural consumer, growth in the consumer market in certain industries, then consumption pattern in service sector such as hospitality and tourism, healthcare and wellness, retail and domestic BPO services, and many other related things. In non-government publication, there you find one category, that is industry body and trade associations. Now here you see this in example, Indian Cotton Mill Federation. This brings out statistics on the cotton textile industry. So data related to cotton industry, cotton textile industry you will find there. Then you know about the stock exchange. So stock exchange directories are there. This can be a good source of secondary data relating to stock market. Then Coffee Board. Coffee Board publishes coffee statistics. That is an annual publication. Then Coir Board, India's production, exports, internal consumption of coir and coir goods. So this data can be found out from publication of that Coir Board. Rubber boards, Indian rubber statistics. So you can easily guess that from there you can find statistics on rubber related trade. Then Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. So this is a industry body, or you can say that is a trade association. So this trade association also conduct number of survey from where you can find a lot of things. Then there are many other export promotion councils publication. So these are all good source of secondary data. Now in non-government publication, there is one category which is called syndicated services. Now syndicated services, so what is this syndicated services? The syndicated data are collected by an independent organization, that is Independent organization, that means that organization conduct research, and that's for purpose of sell to a large number of firms. So what they sell? They sell data or they sell information. Syndicated services are provided by certain organizations which collect and tabulate marketing information on a continuous basis, and reports are sent periodically to the client organization. These are particularly useful in TV viewing, magazine readership, and the movement of consumer goods through retail outlets. The two methods are consumer panel and store audit. When syndicated information is collected from the same sample group of individual, household, or establishment over a period of time, it may be classified as a panel type. So in panel studies, I discussed that panel study, that is a type of longitudinal study where the same group of respondents, those are visited by the researcher and collect data. Now here say in a particular area or in a particular state that if the research is conducted that what is the most viewed TV channel or what is the most popular tele shop, then they will conduct a survey in the panel household, or the panel respondents. So what is that panel, how they constitute the panel? So they will set up some that is that is called pipilometer. So that will be set up in those household, and after that they will collect data from that device, and based on the data collected, okay, so they will find out the result. So those collected data, that can be a good source for secondary data. Store audit facilitated in collecting data at retail level. How much of a particular brand or product sold? Many other secondary information sources like AC Nielsen, OZR Mark. So these are some private organization, private or multinational or very big organization, big research organization. Especially their research related things are related to marketing, business, or consumer research. Then there is an organization which is known as CMIE, that is Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. So this particular organization conduct various researches on status of India's economy in various sectors. So data can be purchased from this site also, this particular organization. Then National Council of Applied Economic Research, then TEM Media Research, Euromonitor International, Frost Sullivan. So these are some of the renowned private research organization. So this can be good source of secondary data. Now for marketing firms or for business firms, or you can say for corporate houses, there are institution called custom marketing research firm. So they give the services. So services like client specific services. So that means as the client demand, as the organization demand, they will give the service. Say some organization is giving the responsibility that collect the consumer data related to consumption of a particular product. So at that time they may develop the questionnaire or they may design the whole research. So this kind of service as demanded by the client, that will be provided to the organization. Now for the organization who is availing this service, so for them that is a secondary data. Then advertising research, product tasting, market estimation and forecasting, brand images, positioning research, taste marketing studies, opinion surveys, media studies, product and packaging studies, behavioral and attitude research. So these are various areas or various fields where the custom marketing research firm offer their services for the client organization. Now, this is publication of international agencies or international institution. You have heard about World Trade Organization, World Bank, International Monetary Fund, then United Nations, international chambers of commerce. So this organization, institution or bodies, if you check their websites, so you will find many open access data are also available. As World Trade Organization, this is the organization, international organization which regulates the international trade. So there you will find trade related data that also from various countries. So metadata are available there. So you can retrieve those data for any research. So these are some media reports. So this particular research, it was conducted by KPMG and FPK in collaboration. Then this is one of the publication of international organization, that is already I told you, that is World Trade Organization. Now they release these trade profiles. So those were some of the major and popular sources of secondary data. So besides those, you know that universities, the academic institutions or the research institution, there the scholars, they used to conduct various academic research and they publish their dissertation. So this can be also a good source of secondary data. Now in India, you'll if you search Google, you will find that there is one site that is called Sudganga. That Sudganga, there is a e-repository of the thesis or the dissertation that are published by the universities and research institution of our country. Then media houses can be also a good source of secondary data. Then there are many libraries, private libraries as well as public libraries. Archives are there. So those can be also source of secondary data. So this is all about the sources of secondary data. This secondary data can be also said as existing data. Why it is existing data? That means existing data means the data are already available, readily available. That means the past data. In our earlier tutorial, I have discussed about existing database research. So that existing data or secondary data, same thing. So here I have discussed various sources of secondary data, and besides these sources, there are many other sources. If you search in Google, you will get the whole lot of things. So this is the source from where I have collected the information that I have presented in this tutorial. So I am concluding this tutorial here. Thank you.